Marley, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Google takes action against political advertising on its platforms. A medical science breakthrough, doctors say they've been putting patients into suspended animation. Dozens of students are holding out at a university in Hong Kong for nearly a week. We have the story of how desire for medicine derived from donkeys is putting the species at risk. And the funniest video you will see in a while in a very viral Almost Animals Doing Stuff. And top of our newsfeed, Google and political ads. Now, after Twitter banned them and Facebook said they'd allow them to contain lies, Google has decided to ban politicians from being able to micro-target people on their platforms with advertising based on political beliefs. Here's Adama.
Now, Google is the latest tech giant to stop advertisers targeting voters based on their political ties. The move comes ahead of looming elections in the UK and US.
We're proud that people around the world use Google to find relevant information about elections and that candidates use Google and search ads to raise small-dollar donations that help fund their campaigns. But given recent concerns and debates about political advertising and the importance of shared trust in the democratic process, we want to improve voters' confidence in the political ads they may see on our ad platforms.
Under Google's new rules, advertisers cannot target users based on their political ties or public voter records. They can target based on age, gender, and postcode location. Advertisers can serve ads to people reading or watching a particular video. This is known as contextual targeting. These plans will come into effect in the UK next week, in the EU by the end of the year, and then the rest of the world at the beginning of next year.
Joe Biden promised Ukraine $1 billion if they fired the prosecutor investigating his son's company.
Recently, Google faced controversy over US President Donald Trump's re-election ad campaign on YouTube, which is owned by Google. Former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign said it contained false claims over his role in Ukraine policy. He's also one of Trump's main rivals in the 2020 US presidential election, but Google says it won't take down the ad. Other online platforms have taken different approaches. Earlier this month, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey said the site would ban all political advertising. In true Twitter style, he put out a 10-point tweet thread saying political messaging should reach people organically. And on Friday, Twitter modified its policies to allow paid issue advocacy. Activists said an outright ban would unfairly target their work and the promotion of evidence-based information. Since 2016, Facebook has faced increased scrutiny over fake news on its platform. And CEO Mark Zuckerberg has decided the site will continue to allow lies in political advertising.
So you won't take down lies or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Congresswoman, I'm
not talking about spin, I'm talking about actual
yes, in most cases, in a democracy, okay. I believe that people should be able to see for themselves what politicians that they may or may not vote for
so
are
you
saying,
won't take
judge
them
their
down.
Character for themselves.
So you won't take, you may flag that it's wrong, but you won't take it down.
Congresswoman, it depends on the context that it shows up, organic post.
Freedom of expression has long been part of liberal democracies, but analysts say social media means people can share vastly different information, and some platforms make it difficult for users to know what is true and what's fake news.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, Apple's first film has been pulled from its premiere at the last minute. The banker tells the story of some men in the US who ran banks for the black community, as white banks at that time would not do business with black people. Now, the daughter of one of the film's subjects, who's also the half-sister of one of the men who co-produced the film, has written to the Hollywood Reporter saying her brother is an abuser. Apple says that some concerns around the film were brought to its attention, hence the cancellation. It did not elaborate on what those concerns were. Well, these are the notes Donald Trump held while standing in front of a helicopter shouting at the media yesterday. They've been mocked online. Richard Painter called them pathetic and like the list of excuses a second grader may use, while one user said, "How are we supposed to believe Trump isn't shady when he's reading off a notepad stolen from Air Force One?" Well, people with little to do have been going on the internet to write negative reviews about the hotels run by Gordon Sondland. He's the US ambassador to the EU who has helped expose President Trump's attempted bribery of the president of Ukraine. And in Britain, people equally lacking in having enough in their lives have been writing reviews of a restaurant called Pizza Express in the town of Woking, which was mentioned in an interview given by Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, while defending his friendship with a convicted paedophile. TripAdvisor has temporarily blocked people reviewing the Woking Pizza Express. And a Christian Australian rugby player called Israel Folau, who is homophobic, had a meal at a New Zealand restaurant run by a gay couple. They took his money and donated it to a charity that works with sexual minority groups, and then posted that fact on Facebook. Rugby Australia banned Folau and binned his contract after he made what rights groups say were anti-gay comments on social media. One of his latest comments is that the bushfires in Australia are God's punishment for the country legalising same-sex marriage. The Grammy Award nominations have been announced, and there are nods for Lizzo, J. Cole, Bon Iver, and others. Now, interestingly, there is no nomination in the country music category for Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, even though that is one of the biggest songs of recent times. Well, in Hong Kong, protests continue. They're into their 6th month now. They began over a now-ditched plan to extradite suspected criminals from Hong Kong to mainland China. They've now grown and include numerous demands. At their base, they're against increased control of the island by Beijing. Now, the island will, by law, become part of China in 2047. Some student protesters are still holed up in a university there, refusing to come out. The police have surrounded the site and are arresting anyone who tries to leave.
It has been a disastrous life for spending these days in Polytechnics University because we can't live here. The supply of food, water, electricity is going to be run out, and no one can escape it because the police is surrounding us. It feels like we are all the criminals. I think if our generation are destined to be criminals, who to save our next generation?
咁其實我就唔會走去話嬲佢哋或者係做咩嘅。不過就每個人都有佢自己嘅選擇，但係我唔會放棄。
Well, the Afghan government and the Taliban swapped prisoners this week, and it could be a significant moment in trying to bring some peace to Afghanistan.
It's the 1st of January. We are now here, hostages of the Taliban. We have been here for 5 months.
But we've been here for a while, and we haven't heard anything.
we'll keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. Now, Aung San Suu Kyi says she will travel to The Hague to defend her nation against accusations it committed genocide against the Rohingya. Myanmar is being sued by 57 nations from the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. The United Nations said that what the Myanmar military did to the Rohingya in 2018 was a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. There are 2 other legal actions currently against the leadership of Myanmar for what they did to the Muslim minority group. 740,000 Rohingya were forced to flee to Bangladesh to escape persecution. The case will be heard at the International Court of Justice on the 10th of December. The Tupinamba de Olivença have won their legal action against a Portuguese hotel chain who wants to build on their land on the coast of Brazil. The area the company called Vila Gale wanted to develop is in Bahia. The Tupinamba don't live on the land but use it for foraging, reports say. New research shows that 1/3 of plant species in Africa are in danger of going extinct. The French National Institute for Sustainable Development say that 40% of plants all across the continent are under threat from climate change, deforestation, and population growth. The Faroe Islands are running their Closed for Maintenance scheme again this year. They ask volunteers from around the world to come and help repair and refurbish the nation's tourist sites. Last year they got 3,000 applications. This year they have nearly 6,000. There are 100 spots available. Now, people will have to pay their own way to the islands, but once they're there, they'll be given accommodation and food. The winner of this year's campaign have been notified. And in some incredible science, doctors in the United States say they have begun trying putting patients into what's called suspended animation. Now, people who come to the University of Maryland Hospital with acute trauma like heart attacks, gunshots, or knife wounds have been given emergency preservation resuscitation. That means the patients have all their blood replaced with ice-cold saline. That reduces body temperature to between 10 and 15 degrees. They're then taken to the operating theatre and surgeons have 2 hours to fix whatever injury the patient has. They're then reanimated, their blood is restored, and their hearts started again. Doctors have not said how many people they've done this on or how many survived. Results of the trials are due at the end of 2020. Now, Chinese traditional medicine has been responsible for putting a number of species in danger. Think of the demand for rhino horn or tiger parts. And now a less majestic animal is in danger of massive population reduction as demand for its body parts grow. And last thing today, we have kind of an animal doing stuff, if you count a man in a dinosaur costume as an animal. Anyway, this was posted by an account called GoobTube to TikTok, and it's going very, very viral. As you can see, it's a prank set to the music from the opera Pagliacci by Ruggiero Leoncavallo. The guy scrambling away is my favorite moment. This has been watched more than 3 million times in just a few days. Do enjoy. Well, that will do from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.